This past week, Phoenix Police Chief Jack Harris came against the enforcement of Arizona's tough new immigration law. Now, he's against the law, but says that his office will do everything it can to enforce it as police. City Councilman Sal DeCiccio, a supporter of the law, is here to discuss how the City of Phoenix moves forward from here. First, let's take a listen to Jack Harris and the City of Phoenix legal consultant.
It takes officers away from doing what our main core mission of local law enforcement is, and that's to make our community safe and enforce our criminal codes.
And again, one of the other troubling components of this bill is that you need reasonable suspicion to detain a person based upon the fact that you think they are an alien. Now, it also says that an officer may transport that person. Well, once you transport them, you have an arrest. And that's another troubling component. You have an arrest without probable cause.
She says they're an arrest without probable cause. Your response?
Well, my response is this. The alternative is to do nothing, right? I mean, basically follow the path that the state, the city's been in several years. If you take a look, and here are a couple facts.
But just saying that, I mean, from a philosophical point of view, doing the wrong thing, though, wouldn't necessarily be the solution. You know what I'm saying? Why is this the right thing to do?
Well, first of all, this is not the wrong thing. This is the right direction that we need to be in the state of Arizona and in the city of Phoenix. What your viewers don't know, and for whatever reason the media just hasn't been able to get this out, over 6,000 arrests last year alone in 2009 of illegal immigrants in the city of Phoenix alone. City of Phoenix, 6,000 arrests for crimes that were committed on the tax-paying public of the city of Phoenix. The second part of it, in the last 10 years...
You're saying 6,000 arrests of illegal immigrants?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so 6,000 arrests last year were illegal immigrants. Okay,
over 6,000, actually closer to 7,000. I'm trying to be extremely conservative in the numbers, but over 6,000 arrests were made last year. An additional 3,000 illegal immigrants were caught and sent directly to ICE, no taxpayer money, nothing else. So there's 9,000 right off the bat. In the last 10 years, we have had eight police officers either murdered or seriously injured by illegal immigrants. One is too many. Yeah. So we have a problem in the city of Phoenix. And if you take a look at this law, and I found it interesting that Vice President Biden was critical of the law. This law mirrors the federal law. It almost is word for word of what the federal law is. What it does do is it changes the aspect and says that the local enforcement agencies are allowed to enforce the law.
I know there's an argument that it steps on the toes of the federal law, but I want to get back to what you said before. 6,000 arrests last year of illegal immigrants. I know Chief Harris is also concerned that those arrests next year could go way down because victims will be afraid to go to police. There won't be that trust anymore, and they won't be able to catch the quote-unquote baddest of the illegal immigrants, you know?
Well, it's just a weak argument. It's just not true. That will not occur. Now, keep in mind, though, the chief is opposed to the law, and actually it's up to the city council to make a determination what laws we want to agree with and not agree with. It's our determination. But the bottom line, and I want the viewers to know, the city of Phoenix will enforce the law because that is what we do. We enforce the laws that are passed. Now, if you take a look within the police organization, Joe, you know, outside of the top commanders, and I have called numerous police officers, line officers, all support this law because they believe that we need it in the city of Phoenix.
And Chief Harris said that he hasn't spoken to one who said that they, you know, disagreed or were troubled by the current immigration policy or that they wanted something new. That was Chief Harris. There was one other thing mentioned real quick, and I'll get your quick response. Sure. Let's take a listen.
The problem with this particular legislation is it puts my officers in a very difficult position. They're looking at civil liability and litigation if they enforce the law or if they don't enforce the law.
Are you setting up the city for an amount unknown of lawsuits?
No, I don't believe it.
Why not?
Because if we enforce the law as the law is written, nothing will come of it. You've got the line officers, you've got the police PLEA, which is our major, they've got over 3,000 police officers, fully endorse this law. We've got line officers all the way up to lieutenants and sergeants that support this. We're going to comply with the law. And if you take a look in the last 2 years, we've been enforcing something similar to this very quietly. I believe, and I have a lot of trust and faith in our police department, that we will be able to do this and do it right and do it effectively if we don't allow politics to get involved in it. If the politics gets involved in it, we try to turn it one way or the other, then it becomes an issue.
Councilman, is it possible to keep politics out of anything these days?
No, not on something. There's so much hype and hysteria over this.
But I appreciate you coming in and talking about this. And again, Chief Harris says that the department will enforce this, but he does have serious concerns, as he mentioned. Thanks again for coming in.
Thank you, Joe.
All right.